Board member.
Plain board.
Yeah, large. Well, thank you. They've been involved for some of this stuff forever. It's a start. Yeah, my name is Philippe. I'm the president. I can't seem to get rid of it, so to speak. I've been president for a while. How did I get involved? Well, I basically won the lottery. You can never win anything. I was hosting, when I worked at the hotel, I was hosting this meeting, standing room only after Rita, Katrina, 189 people, and I was serving coffee. And so the organization got a name, and it needed a board, and the diplomatic way to do that was by putting our name in a hat. So me never wins anything. I got the board position, and I don't have, but it's something I love to do because it really helps our community. It's a community response task force. So what we do is we get involved in a crucial 48 to 72 hours. Something happens, whatever it is. In our community, you know, we always think floods, we always think, you know, hurricanes and stuff, but we have train wrecks. It could happen right there at the front of our community. Airport, port. So that's the people, and I got together with the hospital districts, the counties, the cities, and they're in the partnership. So this is a partnership, it's not a membership. You know, we don't charge a membership fee or anything. We're just a partnership of talents, which we give them when we have them. So if you don't have them, you know, you don't get them. Something happens, there's a need. That's what we do. The needs gets posted and gets out to the community through the partners right around. And then the partners go like, I can't do, but I know somebody who can, and it just really snowballs quickly right when we need it. Because in the first 48 hours to 72 hours, these official instances cannot help us. They're well organized, very well prepared, but they have to do certain things first before they can deal with us. So in the partnership, we have, you know, the hospitals, the retirement homes, you know, all of that. Well, they may be in the need for oxygen. All of a sudden, boom, what do we do? What do we do? Well, post it on our app, and the word gets out, and probably to the right people. And like I said, if they can't help you, they may know somebody who can, and the word gets spread. And that's what we do. It's just a people thing. That's a little bit about our history. And before I introduce the speaker, I want to thank Rotary, for their gift. Because that's how we function. You know, we don't ask for money, not as far as the partner system concerned. But we get help from organizations like the Rotary Club, who then they too help us spread the word. So the word is out there. We're a tool for the community to use. I got involved accidentally, but I remember the beginning stages of it. And the governor got word that we had such a thing, and basically said every community needs it. That's great. We're too dependent on all the official and this and that, and then we get mad if they don't respond. Well, we will respond. Us, partnership, response, and we get the word. So, having said that, I would like to introduce the speaker, Mr. White, and I'll read it on the phone because I was impressed, and I'm impressed with people. Brandon White's life has been a testament to resilience of the human spirit and the power of change. His early years were consumed by the seductive lure of street life, battling both alcoholism and the chains of addiction. Those tumultuous times saw him incarcerated, a seemingly result of the past. Yet his life has a funny way of representing us with moments of clarity, starting points that redefine our purpose. Upon his release, Mr. White was reborn with a fervent desire to not only redeem himself, but also to guide others who are trapped in the darkness he too knew too well. Today, Mr. Brandon White stands proud as a beacon of hope and transformation, working at Magnolia City Detox, running a sober living facility for men. Mr. White's mission is not just about personal redemption, but also about lifting others from despair, addiction, and guiding them towards the warm embrace of hope, recovery, and a second chance at life. Every day, Brandon strives to ensure that those who felt forgotten and cast aside know that there is always sunshine. That's an honor. Thank you. And they have a new system. First time I was using it, but that's what it is. And the people online are going to let us know if they can't hear. So unless I get the call.
All right, you should try the microphone. No, I'm good. If I don't need one, I'm good. I talk pretty loud right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a loud
It's
guy.
getting picked up by the microphones now.
Okay.
It's a new system.
So I guess, so what I'll do, so I brought some pamphlets that are right here from Magnolia City Detox. And there's my business cards too as well. So I guess let me first off start by just telling you a little bit about myself and why I am passionate about what I do. So I was born in Houston, Texas, on the north side, Aldine area. And I was born into a family where I had an alcoholic dad. And, as a child, especially a son, he craves his dad's attention. Well, my dad was a raging alcoholic. He was physically, mentally abusing. And, as a child, I caught a lot of, excuse my language, I caught a lot of hell. And my mom, as well, she wasn't an alcoholic, but she caught a lot of the same things that I did because dealing with an alcoholic dad, it makes the family just as sick as the alcoholic itself. So at the age of 11, just to kind of speed up a little bit, as a kid, I felt like I didn't fit in with other kids that were my age. I felt like I was out of place. Felt like I was all alone. At the age of 11, I put the first drink of alcohol in my body. And that right there put me in a spot where everything numbed out, where I didn't have to feel anymore. At the age of 8 and 10, I was also molested as a child. And I can openly say that today. I work a program, 12-step program, and it's allowed me to work through steps. And also I had a counselor where I was able to start processing this stuff. So at the age of 11, I put the first drink in my body. And, the neighborhood I was born and raised into was a really, really rough area. It was off of Airline, Gulf Bank. And I started hanging out with older kids, an older crowd. So the more, I started to drink, the more my alcoholism and my disease started to progress, and it started to take off on me. So I started doing drugs as well on top of alcoholism. Just running away from my childhood traumas and the things that were going on with me. So I got into this crowd of people, and it seemed like the more drugs and alcohol that I did, the more love and accepted I was, and that was something I was lacking at home. I didn't understand anything about love. All I did know as a child, I craved love, and my mom, bless her heart, she tried. Just like the song says, Mama tried. She really did. But she was in the same situation as me. So along the way, I started to get into this crowd of people, and I started to get into criminal activities at a very young age. School, I would get in trouble all the time. I had no direction. No, I had no home that was structured. I wasn't taught the proper things that a child should have been taught. So I turned to the things that made me feel accepted and loved. And I got taught at a young age how to be a drug addict and an alcoholic and a criminal. Along the way, my journey, it started to spiral out of control, probably 14, 15 years old, where drugs are really, really starting to get deeply embedded in my life, along with criminal activities that I got myself involved in because I just wanted to feel accepted and loved. And at that point in my life, I really didn't care what it took. I basically was wanting to run away from my childhood, not knowing then what I was doing to myself. But I was just wanting to run away, and I wanted to feel nothing. And so the deeper that I got into, hanging with this crowd, the trouble I started to get into, and at the age of 17, I ended up catching a criminal charge and going to Big Boy County Jail. And from that point on, it was an engaging and an organized crime. It was a first-degree felony. And it was some stuff that I got into in Round Rock, Texas, actually, where, we did some stuff. It was kind of like home invasion. And I'm telling y'all my story because I want y'all to understand why I'm so passionate about recovery, why I'm so passionate about working at a detox facility, and why I'm so passionate about having these sober livings for men. Because my life is completely different now. So along the way, I caught this criminal charge. I made, I got bonded out, and I wasn't even out 1 month, and I catch another criminal charge. So I forfeit my bond with another criminal charge, and it's another felony at the age of 17. So I ended up getting sent to prison. I got a 7-year sentence, and I went to prison. Now, mind you, I'm 11 years old. I'm 17 years old. I'm a little kid, and I'm lost. And I'm scared. I have a lot of fear because I'm fixing to go to prison, and all the stories I heard about prison. I just didn't want to die. And so while in prison, I started to hang around a crowd of people, an organization, to where I felt protected. And I felt like I could learn from these guys that I was with, because my whole life, even as a child, I lived the street life. So that was the only thing I knew. I didn't know anything else. So along the way, I ended up doing 5 years on a 7-year sentence. And I came home, and immediately, while I'm on parole for 2 years left, I get back into the street life because I'm lost. For one, the court system didn't offer me no recovery. They didn't even ask me if I had a drug problem, which I did because I got caught with drugs along with these 2 cases. They just sent me straight to prison. While I was in prison, my head got more damaged as far as being institutionalized with the things that was going on in there, the politics of that. So I did this 5 years. I came home, and I get right back into the streets. I started working a job, and the job didn't last a couple of months. And I called myself a drug dealer, where I got drugs and I'm selling drugs, but I'm doing more drugs than I'm selling. And to make a long story short, I end up getting catching another criminal charge while on parole and getting sent back to prison. And that happened repeatedly over and over and over and over again because I had no direction. And it seemed like the older I was getting, the more institutionalized that I was getting to not only the streets, but to prison too. So I had so many things against me at this point, and my life is literally out of control. And I think this is normal. And there was a lot of times, when I was going in and out of prison that I settled for understanding this is just going to be my life. And I was okay with that. I was okay with understanding if I get hit with an habitual criminal charge, which is 25 to life, I'm okay with that. And that's not normal, Well, just to kind of speed up a little bit more. So altogether, I lost 15 years in prison behind my alcoholism and my drug addiction. Being a lost little boy, not understanding how to get away from it. To speed up to 2017, I came home from prison. That was the last time that I ever been in prison. I've been out and free ever since. I came home, but I would go to prison. That last few times I went to prison, I had these hopes, I had these dreams, I had these visions. And I try to have a spiritual connection with God. But I got tired of living the same life over and over and over again and get the same results. I envisioned myself having a job, just a mediocre job, just a simple car, family. I would see things on TV, and I'm going to get emotional because I'm super passionate and I'm super grateful at the end of the day. I would see shows and movies on TV of families walking out of somewhere that they went to and they were happy. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to be happy. So I came home 17 and I started working, and I'm still running back to the streets because that's all I know. I'm comfortable doing it. I don't know anything else. And I'm getting more and more involved into recovery, but I'm not sober. I get a job for the first time in my life. I worked this job as a machine operator in Mansfield, Texas, by Arlington and Fort Worth. And I'm on parole, and they're forcing me to go to the classes, pretty much. So I went to these classes and I started to pick up these little things. And for the first time in my life, I worked a job for over a year and I got vacation. Wow. And this is the last part of my 30s. I'm 45 now. This was probably 38, 39. So for the first time in my life at 38, 39 years old, I worked a job for over a year, got vacation. But one thing I noticed during that period of time is that when I started that job, that I worked myself from the very bottom of that job to being a shift manager. And that was motivating. But I still had a problem. I still didn't understand why I kept running back and, taking prescription meds, drinking, trying to hide it, and still going to work and trying to function. But I knew that there was going to come a time where it was going to spiral out of control. I ended up leaving Mansfield and I ended up moving back here to Houston. And still lost, starting over pretty much. And I ended up walking into a program after I got off parole. I'd been off parole for about a year. And I went out and had these sprees of drinking and doing drugs and womanizing, manipulating, stealing. conniving, lying. And I got to a point to where I just needed help and I wanted to figure out what I needed to do. And the family member at the time had recommended a program for me to go to. And I only say this one time. So I went into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous in 2019. I walked in the room. I was scared. Felt like I didn't fit in. Felt like these people couldn't help me. And I didn't get it the first time. I went back out several times because I was scared to let go completely and surrender all the way over. Start working on myself. Well, come almost 3 years ago, I had a spot in my life where I had a relapse. And I was completely hopeless, defeated. I was broken. And I was at a spot where I didn't even want to be alive anymore. Because here I am in my 40s. I have no 401k. Prison doesn't offer 401k, by the way. So please don't go to prison. And I have nothing to show for it. I don't even got $1 in my pocket. And some of the guys I met in the program, one of them in particular, he's no longer with me anymore, passed away. He came and got me, and one of the things he asked, he said, are you willing? He says, I'm going to come get you, no questions asked. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was not alone. When I got in the car with him, I remember feeling, like this guy really loved me, because at that point in my life, and my whole life, frankly, I didn't love myself. I did not love me. And he took me to a place in Houston. It's called the 25th Hour Club. It's off of Airline and Lyre. There's an AA group, and next door to it is a sober living. He took me to this place, and one of the things he told me and asked me, says, are you willing to go to any lengths for your sobriety? And at that moment, I was so desperate, and I didn't care what I had to do. I was willing. That's where my life began. That's where my journey, and that's why I'm here right now. So I worked a 12-step program with that guy. That guy would drive 45 minutes to come see me 3 to 4 times a day. 45 minutes to come and work a 12-step program with me. While working those steps, I started to feel freedom on the inside, and seeing these guys love me the way that they did. These guys loved me until I could literally love myself. I seen how they poured the love out on me, and they didn't want anything in return. And that was something that really caught my attention. Well, from that point on, I had these spiritual experiences. I'm going to talk about God because I'm very spiritual right now. While working these steps, I had this spiritual awakening, and for the first time in my life, I felt true peace on the inside. A broken little boy that had been through all that stuff his whole life, for the first time in his life, I finally felt peace. And that's where my whole life started to take off. I left that sober living. I stayed involved in recovery, knowing what they taught me at the very beginning, that if you are not surrounded by people in recovery and you are not trying to help other alcoholics and addicts survive, you're not going to make it. I believe that today. That's why I'm here. This is why my journey is where it is now. And to kind of fast forward, so I started working for Magnolia City almost 2 years ago. That's when we first opened the facility. My name got tossed around to the owners because I am very active in the sober community. I do a lot of things in the fellowship. And I recover out loud. I don't care who hears me. I think it's important because they're family members that might not be alcoholics, but they might have those sons or daughters or aunts or uncles or somebody that might need that at that time. But I Recover Out Loud, and my name got tossed around, and I got a call from the owner asking me if I was interested in working at their facility that they were fixing to open up in Conroe with it. I said, absolutely. When he told me it was a detox facility, that gave me an opportunity where I can help people. So I first started my journey working in this deal as a tech, working on the inside, taking blood pressure, vitals, making sure that each client is eating, they're drinking water, and they're okay, caring for these people, the clients that come in. And it was a totally different shift in my life. So I came onto the sober living gig. I stepped away from Magnolia City with a 2 weeks notice. First time I ever did anything right in my life. I put a 2 weeks notice in. I'm trying, and the only reason that I'm learning all these things is because I have great men in my life that are in recovery with me that have lived a successful life. And these are the men I learned from today still, because I absolutely don't know what I'm doing at 45. And I went into the sober living gig where there was an owner that wanted me to help him run a sober living. And I started helping him, not knowing what I was capable of doing. Didn't even know I could communicate right. Didn't know I could talk to people the way that I do. All these different things that are unfolding for me today in my life as a result of understanding and learning who I am today. Because I didn't know I was even capable of doing none of this stuff. So I end up walking away from that sober living because at the time the owner had relapsed. I did an intervention on him, and he didn't go get help, and I have integrity today. You know, and I care about doing the next right thing. I care about honesty. I care about making sure that my side of everything that I do, my side of the street is clean. I walked away with absolutely nothing. I just had my car and I stayed at a buddy's house. That's in the program. And in 9 days, I got the beautiful opportunity from another guy in the program that I've known in the rooms. Him and I opened a sober living together 8 months ago. At the very beginning of that journey, I opened the doors of that sober living, and there was 4 guys that ended up opening the doors with me. I set a program on the inside, on the kind of like similar to what I do on a daily basis. It keeps me sober and where I find freedom and true happiness. In the process of that, I get another call from Magnolia City Detox from the owners and the higher ups. And one of the things that they asked me is, you know, we want to ask you if you want to be a liaison, work business development director. And I'm like, absolutely. So I took this position at Magnolia City Detox because, once again, what I was doing for the sober living, I go to networking events all over, and Miss Monica knows. Her and I are like networking partners. She's out of Kingwood Pines, right around the corner. And I'm very outspoken, and I know that I love building relationships with people. And one of the things that I'm super passionate about is sobriety. I'm super passionate about helping people get through their recovery and understand what it looks like, what it feels like, to find, you know, those happy, joyous moments. So now my life and where I'm at, we're opening a 3rd sober living today. Probably about a month away from a 3rd one being open. And I'm working for Magnolia City Detox, where these people trust me to talk for their company. And it's all behind sobriety. It's all behind God coming into my life the way he did, and sobriety really being strong in my life. This is why I do what I do. Now I can kind of jump into what we do at Magnolia City Detox. This is why I kind of wanted to bring this out, and I wanted to share a little bit about my story. That way you understand why I'm so passionate about what I do. I work 7 days a week. My phone, I stay on my phone constantly trying to help people. And the reason that I do that is because one of the things my sponsor told me, you were willing to go to any lengths when you were out there in your active disease and your active alcoholism. I need you to be willing to go to any lengths. So that's why I do it. I was held on the streets. And in sobriety, I'm the same way. I'm the same way trying to help people. And so let me kind of go over a little bit of the things we do at Magnolia City Detox. So we are a medical detox facility as well as a residential 24-bed facility, male and female both. We have a medical staff that is on 24/7, and we have techs that are on 24/7. We have a system, a key-proof system. I don't know, Monica probably knows about the key-proof system. We have a key-proof system that we use. It's designed for what we do. In this key-proof system, you know, those people that are, the clients that are coming in, and we put them on 15-minute rounds where we're going around, we're making sure that they're okay. You know, because our number one job is to make sure that they are getting healthy and that they're not going through a rough detox. That's the most important part. We have LCDCs that are on staff. We have recovery coaches. We have 5 groups that we do a day, Monday to Sunday. We have outside meetings that come in and they talk to the clients. We have a lot of different activities for those clients. But one of the things I could tell you about Magnolia City Detox is that 90% of the people that work there are in recovery. They're super passionate about helping. And I have mentors today. I have mentors that are mentoring me through the position that I'm in, living life. And one of the things the mentors had told me getting into working in recovery, they said, whatever you do, make sure you believe in what you're doing, you're promoting. I believe in Magnolia City Detox, 100,000%. Because I worked the inside. I seen how passionate that the nurses were, the doctors that were on staff, all the higher ups. It's a family-owned business. We have a sister company that is located in Indiana as well. They opened a recovery center there before they opened Magnolia City Detox. These owners, 2 of them out of 4 are in recovery. And it's completely changed their life. So they're completely all in it to try to help people. On the paper that I draw, you know, we take, you know, most insurance. We don't take the Medicaid, Medicare, but it doesn't matter to me. I think the most important part is if anybody is calling me, I'm going to make sure that person gets help. Whether they come to me or whether we get them somewhere else, that's the most important part. Me and Monica do a lot on the side with that, where I send people to her, she sends people to me that I can't get in. I might be full, and that's just how it works. You know, and I think that's huge. Anything, the more hands that we have in this, the more lives that we can save, and I think that's the most important part. Because I wouldn't be here if I didn't have all hands on deck. You know, so now I get to be in this position where I get to give it back, and I actually get to feel good about myself. I get to understand that I have a purpose. Because my whole life I live not having a purpose, not understanding anything about me. Today, I get to learn more about me every day. Like all these new things I'm finding out about myself at 45 years old, it's miraculous. And sometimes it's scary. I'm like, ooh, I don't understand that one. But you know, like all this right here, this, when I first took this job, one of the things that I knew I had to do is I had to dress up. I never put any dress clothes on my whole life. It took me 5 hours in the mall to figure out what to wear and how to wear it. 5 hours to figure out what that looked like. My whole life, I didn't know what my dress code was because it was all street. I didn't know a dress code. The only dress code I knew was wearing some thuggish clothes. That's it. I didn't know anything else. Today, I could stand here like with a smile on my face and say, I'm a completely different guy today. Like, do I still have flaws? Do I still have a lot of things I need to work on? Absolutely. I'll be doing that the rest of my life. I mean, I'm just not even 3 years into this deal. So really, frankly, I'm still a little boy on the inside, trying to learn how to live, trying to learn what life looks like. And I could say that openly in front of everybody. That's okay. But one thing I can tell you is that this sobriety and what it's brought me. So I have a daughter, 20 years old. That daughter hasn't had her mom in her life since she was 7 years old. That same daughter watched me go in and out of prison. That same daughter was in an incubator when I violated my parole and caught another criminal charge and went back to prison. She wasn't even out of the hospital. I destroyed that relationship. That relationship now, me and my daughter are super close because of sobriety. We're like best friends. She's going to college. She just graduated from a college. She's going to Lubbock. She's not at Tech. She just graduated 2 years doing a community college there. And I get a call 2 weeks ago telling me, Dad, I just got a scholarship to go to Texas Tech for the next 2 years. And guess what came after that? Can you come up here December 1st while I do my tour? Absolutely. So I get to go the 1st of December. I'm going to spend 5 days with her. Me and my girlfriend are going to spend 5 days with her. And I'm going to go do that tour with her at Texas Tech. It's going to be a full day event. She wants me to meet all of her friends. That's huge. Like here I am all tatted up. I'm tatted, mind you, I'm tatted from like literally just my whole body because that was the wreckage of my past. But my daughter wants to introduce me to her friends. She's 20 years old. I'm 45. Like what daughters and sons want to introduce their parents to their friends? That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And I say all that to say this. Today I got a lot of gratitude for what sobriety brought me. That's why I do what I do. And I stand firm on it. I walk with my head up high, my chest out, and I can cry today. I held crying in my whole life. I had to hide that. I had to hide it as a kid. Went to prison. Yeah, I'm sure need to hide it there. You cannot show no weakness there. So I never got the opportunity to cry. So I'm a little crybaby right now, and that's okay. I don't even care right now. Because the more that I show humility, and that's what the program teaches me, the more that I show humility, the more freedom I have and the more happiness I have. And you know, it's an honor to be able to be up here and speak. You know, I got so much gratitude to be in these positions, where I get to speak openly. And I get to share my nasty, grimy story. But I get to share the sunshine and rainbows that my life is going through right now, because it's amazing. Like my life right now is amazing. I've got finances going. I didn't know about finances. I wasn't taught what the true value of a dollar was. I wasn't taught how to use tools. These are the things that I never got taught to do. But today, I'm learning all those things. And I have so much gratitude, and you know, I'm so thankful. Thank you, Elite, for asking me to speak. I think it's an honor, and I have a lot of gratitude, and I am so grateful today. And thank y'all for letting me share. I got all my stuff right here. Y'all got any questions? Maybe I can open it up for questions. Yes, ma'am.
The place that you work at, that's where they go to detox. They stay just until they're detox. How long does it take to detox?
Okay, so we have a detox and we have a residential as well. So the detox is anywhere from 7 to 10 days, just depending. It's case by case, depending on what it is, how deeply embedded the disease is. And then we have a 30-day residential as well, where it's programming, you know, where there's LCDCs, where they have individual sessions with them, counseling, trying to, you know, help them navigate. And really that doesn't even scratch the surface. You know,
After 30 days, where do they go then?
so we have discharge coordinators and case managers. So what they do is they specialize in building relationships with each one of these clients. And when they build these relationships, they basically build this aftercare for them. So we have IOPs and PHP programs. IOPs are pretty much intensive outpatient programs. And we get them, basically when they leave our care, we want to already have them in that direction to go to that next place, because 30 days doesn't even scratch the surface. It takes more. It takes a lot more. In fact, it probably takes the rest of our life to be working on it. You know, and that's probably majority of everybody. I mean, I don't think there's too many people that come in on a whim and clear out and then get out after that 30 days and are successful. There's not many. There might be a few that slip through like that, but addiction, when it gets a hold of you, it grabs you and it snatches your soul. That's what it does. And then that's why it takes so much programming and working.
If I could just jump in there. So addiction is a brain disease and it's a chronic disease. And so very much like high blood pressure and diabetes is something that we have to continuously work at in order to be able to overcome. And so there are lots of wonderful places, Brain for Sober Living Home, where people who are in recovery will go and live with other people who are in recovery to support one another. There's lots of sober programs as well. There's a sober recovery committee in Houston, and they create events that are sober events where people can go and congregate and meet other people who are also in recovery, because it's very much a peer support, kind of much like what Brandon is saying, where he has mentored and sponsored. It's very much a supportive environment.
So our thing is focusing on the week, not a high, a week. You know, one of the things that I learned early in the program that I work is that it's a week program, and we stay sober together. I can't do nothing. Obviously, I can't do nothing but end up back in prison and trash. You know, so it is a disease. Thank you for bringing that up. And it does take a lot of programming, and there's a whole rim of programming. You know, we have Accelerate Recovery, we have Smart Recovery. spiritual programs. And we have, like AA, NA, which are spiritual, it's a spiritual program too. It's just not religious. That's where I found religion in that program. So that's why I have such a connection with God. And I love church. I like to go to church nowadays. I get the message, understand it, hear God talking to me. So, but there's all kinds of ways, and that's what we want to do. Our case management and discharge coordinators, they build those relationships, and we've got two of them, and she knows one of them, Andy. We've got two of them that work at Magnolia City Detox, and they build this dynamic of a relationship. Like when they have them in the office, they're literally crying with the clients, super passionate, but they want to place them in the proper care after they're done. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Does the state fund you all?
No,
So who does?
no, it's private. No, so it's basically insurance based. So there are state funded places, you're talking about like 501(c)s and stuff of that nature. Yeah, there are state funded programs that we actually work with. We have a few of them that we work with, but our facility is based on insurance or cash pay, things of that nature. And we do scholarships every so often to give back. Yeah, for sure. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, sir.
He said you might get emotional. I did too. Couple of, anyway, yeah, magnificent. Thank you for doing that. Really, really good. CRTF as an organization, we thought that emergencies were train wrecks and stuff like that. And then, people were approaching us, and we, talk about domestic violence. Nope, that's not an emergency. Hello, but we didn't see it, et cetera, et cetera. So then, same thing with forest fire. Why would we talk about that? We don't have it. Well, I don't know. We got a drought. There's a spark somewhere, and Kingwood could be totally devastated. Yes, we do. So we went the route of Fentanyl. We had somebody out there, famous in the area of that, talk to us, and it was incredible. And the traction we got within the community about it. Then we last month it was about domestic violence, and combined with drugs that caused it and everything else. So it was totally right on that we brought it to Brandon and his story, and yes, help us spread the word about the possibilities that are out there to help people like that. It's a whole community. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We do this every month, same time, same place. Always hosted by the Atascocita Fire Department and this magnificent facility. Next month is our Christmas party, so we invite y'all and the community and the past speakers and the people that have been supportive to come to that. Same time, same place. Actually, it's at 12 o'clock. So 12 to 2-ish. And the board is cooking. So please honor us with your positive criticism.
I blew up my microwave, remember?
All right. Well, thanks again for being here. And please remember this organization. We have flyers and business cards and all that. And yes, our organization can help because its partners giving us their best when they have to do it. So thank you.
Yes.
Hey, come brother. You've been bedding, you know?